Hello, I'm Ariel with Lowell Observatory, and here's what's in the sky this November. Jupiter and Saturn will both be in the constellation Capricorn. These planets will be visible in the early evening throughout the month, but will set earlier each night, and by the end of the month they will set just after sunset. Venus will be visible in the very early evening sky, moving from the constellation Ophiuchus to Sagittarius. Look for it during twilight or just after dark towards the southwest. Venus is the brightest object in the sky other than the sun and the moon, so it should be fairly easy to spot. Mercury will be visible just before sunrise in the eastern sky in the beginning of the month, but will soon move close enough to the sun to make viewing it impossible. Mars will remain very difficult to observe, but will start creeping into the morning sky and might just be barely visible before dawn towards the end of the month to the east in the constellation Libra. Uranus and Neptune will be visible to those with telescopes for most of the night throughout the month. Uranus will be in the constellation Aries, and Neptune will be in Aquarius. On November 5th, Uranus will be at opposition, making its closest pass with Earth for the year. This month's new moon will be on November 4th, and the full moon will be on November 19th. This month's full moon will be accompanied by a partial lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse happens when the moon moves into the shadow of the Earth. This will be a partial lunar eclipse because only part of the moon will be covered by the darkest part of the Earth's shadow, or its umbra. The November 19th event will be extremely close to a total lunar eclipse, with only a small sliver of the moon remaining uncovered by the Earth's umbra. During this event, the eclipsed part of the moon will still be hit by some light refracted through the Earth's atmosphere, giving the moon a dark red color. The moon will begin moving into the Earth's umbra at 7:18 UTC, Coordinated Universal Time, or 12:18 a.m. in Arizona. The maximum eclipse will happen at 9:03 UTC, or 2:02 a.m. in Arizona. Check the difference between UTC and your local time to see when the eclipse will happen in your area. Also, please note that this event is happening after midnight, so although it's technically occurring on the 19th, you'll want to stay up late the evening of the 18th to see it. The eclipse will be visible throughout both North and South America, as well as the Pacific Ocean, Australia, and much of Eastern Asia. Weather permitting, Lowell Observatory will be doing a live stream of this eclipse on November 19th at 12:15 a.m. Arizona time. This year, November's strongest meteor shower, the Leonids, will unfortunately peak very close to the full moon. Their peak this year will be November 17th and will be expected to produce about 10 to 15 shooting stars an hour. Most of these shooting stars will be obscured by moonlight, but early risers may still be able to catch a few more of them during the short time between moonset and sunrise. You can also observe this shower a few nights before its peak, although early morning observing will still be required in this case. Also visible this month are the southern Taurids. This lengthy meteor shower peaked in October, but will still be visible through the first half of November. It may produce up to 5 meteors an hour. The northern Taurids are another lengthy shower, visible the whole month and peaking on November 12th. It's also expected to produce around 5 shooting stars an hour at its peak. The summer triangle of Vega, Deneb, and Altair will remain visible in the early evening throughout the month, especially from more northern latitudes. The autumn constellations remain prominent through nearly the whole night throughout the month. Cassiopeia forms a prominent W or M shape in the sky and opens up directly towards Polaris, the North Star. Leading Cassiopeia around the North Star is Cepheus, the king, and following Cassiopeia is Perseus, the hero. Cassiopeia's stars, Navi and Shidar, point straight to the great square of the constellation Pegasus, the winged horse. Adjacent Pegasus, or looking from Cassiopeia in the opposite direction from Polaris, is Andromeda, the princess. Rising earlier and earlier and dominating the late night sky are the spectacular constellations of winter. The first of these to rise is Auriga, the charioteer, which follows Perseus in the sky and contains Capella, the next brightest star after Vega. Rising just after, a bit farther south, will be the star Aldebaran, the brightest star of Taurus the Bull. Aldebaran can be seen in the foreground of the Hyades, a V-shaped grouping and one of the closest open star clusters to us. Aldebaran is led in the sky by the famous Pleiades, another one of the closest star clusters. Following Taurus is the brilliant constellation of Orion the Hunter, with the bright stars of Rigel and Betelgeuse. Following Auriga is the constellation of Gemini, the twins, with Castor and Pollux. Orion's belt points directly to Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, located in the constellation of Canis Major, the big dog. Finally, following Gemini will be Procyon, the brightest star of Canis Minor, the small dog. Capella, Aldebaran, Rigel, Sirius, Procyon, and Pollux form the winter hexagon, a formation of many of the sky's brightest stars. Early risers this month will also be able to see the spring constellations of Leo, Ursa Major, and Boötes. The November sky is rich with objects that are beautiful to view and easy to find with binoculars. The Hyades and Pleiades are both easily visible to the naked eye and spectacular with even small binoculars. In the center of Orion's sword lies the Orion Nebula, the closest large star-forming region to us and another spectacular binoculars target. The closest large galaxy to us, the Andromeda Galaxy, makes for another excellent target for binoculars. The brightest stars of Andromeda form a wide angle, bisect that angle, and go a couple stars up to find the galaxy. It will appear to be a cloudy area, and its core will be just barely visible to the naked eye under clear and non-light polluted skies. Another target for binoculars is the Perseus double cluster. This is a pair of open star clusters rich with extremely massive stars. It can be found almost exactly halfway between the shapes of Cassiopeia and Perseus. Under dark skies, it's barely visible to the naked eye as a bluish glow. This month's Deep Sky Challenge is the Saturn Nebula. This is a planetary nebula, the remnants of a burnt-out, average-massed star. It can be found in the constellation Aquarius. Aquarius is a relatively faint constellation. Its brightest star is a medium-brightness star called Saddlesued. Saddlesued can be found not far to the south of Enif, the red star that forms the snout of Pegasus. Nearly straight south from Saddlesued is the slightly fainter star Aldebaran. The Saturn Nebula is very close to Aldebaran, roughly 3 full moon widths or 1.5 degrees to its southwest. This month, the Saturn Nebula is also relatively close to Jupiter and Saturn, so that may be of help. That's all for this month's Mars Hill Almanac, and until next time, happy stargazing.